Hey, it's Michael Saul. It's Sunday, July 10th at 8:21 p.m. This is the Stock Market Trading Watch List for the week of July 11th, 2011. Two things before we begin. You'll hear the occasional chirp from the smoke detector that we've never changed the battery on. I have no idea why. It's been like a month. And my middle son who's running up and down the hall with the occasional scream. So I apologize for that on the video. This is my fourth take. I'm not doing a fifth one. So we'll just have to all bear with this problem together. Okay, we'll have to bear with it? Yeah, okay. I don't know if that's a Freudian slip or whatever. All right, let's look at Google. I got a lot of good feedback from people, and I think one criticism, but that's okay. The majority of the people were saying they like my new format where I go over a bunch of stocks, and then if I have anything to look at specifically, add that in as well. So I'm going to keep doing it. The videos I'm going to try to keep to 6 to 7 minutes, and this way it doesn't burn a lot of time, and I can get my point across. So this one may run a little longer because of my little disclaimer at the beginning and that I'm talking like this instead of looking at the stocks. All right, let's look at Google. Gap down, form the doji, back below this pivot. So I want to see it back above that pivot. Now, obviously, for this to go higher, it has to go above last week's highs. But if it gets above this pivot here, which is 543.55, then it may decide to coil up, and that could be a nice spot to launch from up to the 200-day moving average. Support, if this continues to pull in, are these three moving averages, and you want to watch to see what happens there. Reversal bar, does it just slice through it, etc. So, do I have an opinion here? Well, this kind of move usually leads to a pause and then a little bit of continuation. Do I think Google will go to all-time highs and go back into an uptrend? Not sold on that yet, okay? It did hold the 78.6% retracement, which is important, but it's one step at a time, and it's a little bit of a distance here from these highs up here at 643, another 100 points here, okay? All right, let's look at Baidu. Baidu gapped down, but then had a nice recovery and closed about above the 78.6% retracement, which it did on Thursday as well. So this is suggesting that it may want to test those highs. Research in motion, if I can spell it correctly. Okay, still looks like crap. I'd watch the 20 EMA for potential resistance. Goldman Sachs, all right, had a little coil, but I've readjusted the lines. May even be able to do something like this. But, yeah, it could look like something like this, which would be a little mini coil, I like to call it. And see if it breaks one way or the other from here. I mean, the stock's been relatively weak, but it's had a little bit of constructive action down here, not much. It's still really underperforming the S&P. Okay, let's look at Caterpillar. Last we looked at Caterpillar, it was had this reversal candle potential right up here above the 78.6% retracement. Gap down below it, closed below it, but I mean, Friday was kind of a wicked day. So could this be an island reversal? It's possible, but if the gap fills, it could just as easily rip open to the upside above this and then retest the highs. Alcoa, okay, popped out of this little mini coil I had, and then Friday, like everything else, it was weak. Or I shouldn't really say like everything else, because some stocks actually turned out to be okay Friday, right? But you can see here, wait and see on this one. Apple, okay, this is the one I'm talking about. This one just decided to gap down and make an awesome buying opportunity for those that were nimble enough, and you can see it formed a bullish engulfing pattern, which is not as powerful when it comes after an uptrend, right? These are best as a reversal candle. So I still think Apple has a good shot of retesting the highs. Like I said in, I think, the last update, the people that were calling this for death and under 300, Don't hear nothing about it now. It's 20% up from 300. So anyway, enough of that. All right, let's look at a couple of stocks that I found interesting this week. A couple of cheap ones too. First one is Acor, ACOR. This one trading in the 30s, and this looks like a nice little pattern here, and now it has a little mini pattern. So if the market shows some strength, and right now it's gapping down as I'm doing this, but check the S&P video for my opinion on the overall market. But if this were to pop out of here, okay, we have the highs up here at 33.48, and then we have 35 as the next resistance number. So I'd be watching this one. If you pull up a weekly chart, all right, you can see that we have a smaller pattern inside a bigger pattern. Okay, so this one could be a little jack-in-the-box move here. So that is Acor, ACOR. DYAX, okay, this is a cheap one in a coil, okay. So you can see just using Friday's range, you have a 212 entry with a 202 stop. If you're looking for this to go higher, which it is above the moving averages, right? So you got about a 10-cent stop. Would I risk a full unit on this? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would, if I was trading it as per the video rules, okay, which is the way that I do these videos, I would risk a tenth of a unit, maybe a fifth of a unit at most. But I mean, it's ridiculous. You can risk a tenth of a unit. If it goes, hey, great. You're in cheap on one that has a lot of room to retrace here, okay? And if not, you're risking 10 cents and you're out with a tenth of a unit, and big deal. It's a lot for a lot of people. That's commissions, all right? So that's just one way to do it. You could trade it any way you want. I don't know your financial situation. This is not specific advice. So I'm just talking like as the video would trade it. INSM, okay, also in a nice little pattern here. Throw up the weekly chart, and you can see the weekly chart, even though I have marked off the daily, obviously, you also have this little pattern here. So it's like a little coil inside a bigger coil. So watch this one too. Let's run a fib grid. And okay, we can see we're right at the 38%. So if we could get above this, have a little room to $15.19, and then of course above if it were to get some momentum behind it. All right, so that's INSM. Look at EJ. Okay, little coil here, still above the 89 and the 200, so you can't get a bullish bias. But you have resistance up here, the 89 EMA, also this swing high at 1070. So one to watch, EJ. This is eHouse China Holdings, and SMBL finally. Okay, also not the best looking coil, right? I mean, I guess I could have cheated and just did this, but I mean, that trend line is valid going back there. So yeah, I like more symmetry, I guess, but it is a coil. I mean, it is still a coil here. So this is one you could definitely watch. The volume dried up down here as this was basing, so it's a cheapie. And the first target up here, let's see, so you're looking at like a 535 entry with like a 515 stop, so 20 cents, right? What are you looking to risk on this? Same thing, tenth of a unit, just for if it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, hey, no big deal, right? That's the way the video would be playing it. So these are nice cheapies. I picked out a couple of cheap ones, but they're not ones that you're gonna load the boat and throw everything in it. And okay, if it doubles, I make a lot of money. All right, but that's not what these are for. These are little flyers. They look like they're in a nice looking pattern, right? They're not in bad patterns. Nice little cup and handle it broke out of. Okay, so that's it. Have a great trading day on Monday. I'll talk to everybody again tomorrow.